welcome to another episode of Voices of IWA. I'm your host, Iya Omisegun. And Voices of IWA is a podcast that's focused on amplifying the voices of women all throughout the African diaspora that have made a choice to live an African lifestyle through the incorporation of our African and ancestral traditions. So this whole entire first season has been dedicated to the role of women in African traditions. We've talked about the role of Iya Nifa. We've talked about the role of Iya Losha. We've talked about the role of creator, the role of mother. Today, we're actually going to talk about the role of sister. So this is the first part of a two-part episode where we will be talking about the role of sister. We all have sister friends. Maybe you grew up with your sister. Maybe y'all loved each other. Maybe y'all hated each other. I don't know. However, what we want to talk about today is how we relate to each other as women and how very important sisterhood and the role of sister is in our traditions. There's a proverb that says, when you have a sister, you need no mirror. So we're also going to be looking at how we mirror things for each other, especially as we grow and as we heal ourselves and using these traditions to heal ourselves. So I'm sitting with two women that I appreciate and two women that I admire. What we do is we start off with just tell us a little bit about who you are. Maybe where you're from. Don't forget your name. Brag on yourself. Tell us about all the wonderful, dope ass shit that you do. But also tell us about how the story of how you got into practicing the African traditions. Like that narrative is very important to us, so that the audience get to know you a little bit better. Who wants to go first?
Oh, she's looking at me.
It's on you, yeah.
You the Oba. You must go first.
Okay, so I am Oba Olowogbofalue, Ifasade, Olosunde, Egbeyemi. I was born in England. Mm-hmm. My parents are Nigerian, and in this tradition, not even in this tradition in my life, my message or the way I would like to present myself is someone who wants to change the vibration of this planet with love. Sure. So a lot of my narratives is about love and what does that look like for us all. So that's what I am here to do. I do teach because I teach in an elementary school, but that's my passion right now. Coming into this tradition, I could say it's all my life, but without knowing it.
Okay.
Because my family's from Nigeria, and so I didn't grow up into this, but in Nigeria, that end did. So when I got into Ifa in America, a lot of divinations, a lot of information was coming to me about who I am, what I'm about, and what my family was into. Then I realized that my mother's maiden name, Ifadoju, well, it's Fadoju, which is Ifadoju, which is a big line of Ifa people. So, so with that, and especially Ifa and divination, I kind of found my footing and found myself in the spirituality to the point where it's like I don't even know who I am without it. Yeah. So, that's basically it. So yes, Ifa and the Orisha, Egbe, all of that.
Yes.
Ancestors, a big part of my world.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy your videos, by the way. I watch them all the time. Yeah.
Oh, me? My turn?
Yes, it is totally your turn.
Hey, girl. My name is Tajhiek Anwar Baoll. Most people know me by Taj Anwar or by my street name, which is OG Beretta Scott King or OGBSK. Let's see. You asked me where I was from. I'm from the west side of Atlanta, so actually where we're sitting at right now. Grew up right down the street.
Wow.
Born in Atlanta in 1978. My father is from Americas by way of Trinidad, and my mother is from Atlanta by way of Puerto Rico and Cuba. Okay. So my introduction into this spirituality came very natural from my grandmother, Ibaye Mary Emma Perrin-Hurd. We called her Nana. And Nana introduced us to, paying homage to the ancestors, to the Orisha and stuff like that. Let's see, I started my journey in Lukumi. I was initiated to Obatala in Lukumi. And then I was initiated into Ifa Oya, Oshun, Olokun, Ogun, and Egbe on the Isheshe side in Nigeria, under the tutelage of Agbonbon Fakayode Faniyi and Baba Seku Awosan Mi from 256 Life Ile in New York. Yes. And I was initiated into Lukumi under Rodolfo Ortiz. Oshundina is what he goes by, Oba Oshundina. So he's in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
And I've been initiated, let's see, this is 2024. I really don't be keeping up with the years because you know me, like I'm super down to earth. When you meet me, my name is BSK. My name is OG BSK Taj. I have a long Ifa name that it'll take me all day to tell you all the names. But yeah, man, I've been practicing as a priest for 8 years. I love it here. I love practicing my tradition, things that are in alignment with my ancestors, you know. And like I said, I'm from West Atlanta, and introducing this culture to my community is essential because a lot of times we think we don't belong, so we ain't got the right clothes, won't speak, won't speak Yoruba the right way with the right tongue or whatever. You know, what I did on Killer Mike's album received a lot of backlash, like, oh, her accent ain't right, and you know, if you want somebody to pray for you for real, to come talk to me, you know, just that kind of business. But you know, I'm a speak in my mother tongue, which is West Atlanta,
right?
You know, and I do the best I can with the Yoruba, but I like to talk to my people in a language that they understand.
Absolutely,
you know, and that's not always, you know, proper English. Sometimes it's broken, sometimes it's Southern slang. You know, dirt, clay, bottom, you know.
All of it.
It's what they understand. You know what I'm saying? And Ifa is for the world. It's not just for one particular sector of people, it's for the world, Black people everywhere. So I like to make sure that my community knows that there's a place for them in here as well. So yeah, that's my main thing. And other than that, you know, I'm a priest, I'm an officiant. I do weddings, funerals. I also am a midwife, so I catch babies. I do postpartum and, you know, prenatal care and, you know, post-abortion care. You know, I have a home called Real Whole House. It's in the back of my home, but it's a whole house. And take care of people for whatever they're going through, you know, whatever that may be, whatever recovery they may be going through, even grief recovery. So I also do that as well. Not knowing that I would have to do that for myself this year as I lost my father in September. So Ibaye Curtis James Ball. So yeah, that's what I do, man. I like bringing my, you know, my Yoruba culture to my people in Atlanta. So that's my main thing in this culture, and making women feel like they have a place here. You know, I've never really met a woman that I didn't like. You know what I mean? So growing up with 9 godmothers and women just always around, grew up in a village of women, you know, that didn't know much about no African nothing. It wasn't really about that. It was like, yo, this is my homegirl, her kids is my kids, and my kids is her kids, and when they eat, we all eat. We all have money, nobody's lacking, nobody's lights is getting cut off. You need diapers, here they go, you know, that type of business. So that's the type of women that I was raised around, you know. So I just like opening that up to other women in the community.
I say you are like one of 5 people that I know that are originally from here.
Yeah,
you know, so I always appreciate the way you represent who you are. You know what I mean, and stay true to that. I love that about you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the role of sister. Just like what comes to mind for you when you think about a sister? And what role do you think sister plays in our traditions?
It is one of the most important things. Like you said about the mirroring effect, sisters, it's like an extension of the blood family.
Yes.
And it's meant to represent the support, the connection, the honoring of that aspect. So you're never without, you know, because family represents a big thing in your life. So when you have a sister and they're not blood, but they can stand in place.
Mm-hmm.
That's how important it is. Because when you think about our community and our traditions, that is our life.
Yes.
That's the way our life moves. So you would like somebody that understands that, to support you on that, and to express what they see from an angle that you may not see, and be able to give you that dialogue that you need moving forward. That is being honest, and telling you when you're messing up, giving you praise when they see you need it, and to help pick you up when you're down. It's one of the most important aspects, because sisters are there when everybody else goes. Any relationship you have, male, female, whatever, your sisters are always there through all of it. And so to me, that's one of the most important things in this space, It's not easy.
Right.
Give you that. And that could be part of the story moving forward. But that's what it is for me, beginning.
That's right. For me, sisterhood is a lot of things. So as I told you, I was raised by a lot of women in my life. Like, I have a lot of mothers that I was not born from, but look after me like they were my mother. So when I think about mother, I have 9 mothers, 1 natural mother and 9 mothers. So sisterhood has always been something that I saw growing up. Like I said, never really met a woman that I did not like or could not find something in common with, which is probably what I should really say. Because, we don't always like everybody that we encounter, but I have that ability to always find something in common with women that I come across. So for me, it's, I met my half sister. We share the same father, and I met her when I was an adult. So I did not grow up with blood sisters. But there's something to be said about women that you choose for your sisterhood, because you cannot choose who your sister is, in terms of blood, but you can choose your family, in terms of non-relation. So choosing someone for that role is so cool, because it's like you get to shape what your world looks like. You get to shape what your circle looks like. You get to shape who's in your life and who's not in your life, because sometimes with family, still got to deal with family because we got the same relatives. We may be at the, the family dinner or whatever, or when somebody dies, we're going to be at the funeral. But when it comes to people that you choose to have in your life, that's huge, because you're choosing people according to your principles and according to your where you stand in life and things like that. So the importance of a sister is so much like a mirror, because you're choosing people who may share your ideals and your experiences and stuff like that. But also being able to choose people who are not exactly like you, but have something to bring to the table that can affect you in some kind of way. Like, I got homegirls from all kinds of walks of life. That's why you never hear me down any type of specific religion, lifestyle, none of that, because I grew up seeing all of that, different types of religions and different types of dress, different sexualities, all of those things. So my circle kind of reflects how I grew up. I saw all kind of things. But sisterhood is so essential to a woman's life. I don't really understand when women be like, I don't mess with women like that. What do you mean, sis?
Red flag.
What you
flag
mean?
on the play, right?
What you mean by that? Because you're a woman, so I don't understand what you mean by that. And no matter what you identify as or whatever, whatever you call yourself, if you got a womb, you know what I'm saying? There is an innate locking in that we do with other people with wombs. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is essential for all people with wombs, whatever you call yourself, because at the end of the day, I don't really care what nobody call themselves, you know what I'm saying? But like, in terms of what we share, the shared experience that we have from us both having wombs, the ability to birth life. And it's not just babies that we birth. It's ideas, it's concepts, it's things, it's plans, it's so many things to birth. So the role of sisterhood is essential to all of that growing, to all of that, really coming to fruition. It's your sisters that, forward you in these ideas. It's the people around you with wombs that be like, hey, remember you're supposed to be doing da-da-da-da-da. Keep yourself in check, hey, you've been in the studio, you've been doing your podcast. Well, why not? Oh, you need to get back over there, Omisegun. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. We need that. We need those checks and balances. And I think that's essential to our growth and our evolving.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm adopted, and so I do have sisters that I met like when I was 25. However, I grew up with a cousin about 7 doors down, who she is my sister. If you talk to us, right, we'd be like, we're my sister cousin, right? So Bella and I grew up. We did a lot together, by force, right? It's like, go with your cousin here, follow her there. You know what I mean? And so we're 2 years apart. So I was the goofy little cousin forever, right? And to this day, we're very, 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 very close. And I also remember times where our relationship was hard. Like you said, it's not always easy. Where especially her as the older of us, telling me some shit I didn't want to hear. You know what I mean? Checking in on things that were happening around me. And there definitely was a time in my life where I was like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, yeah, like you don't even know what you're talking about. I actually brought that up in a recent conversation we were having, and I had to tell her thank you, for having my back. She was telling me about friends that I had at the time who were not my friends, people that I was calling sister, right? And she was like, I'm here for you, and those people don't have your back, but you're checking for them, and I'm checking for you. And I was like, you're jealous. Like, it was this whole conversation. And I had to actually, like, just recently, maybe like a month ago or so, we were at a bar just chilling, and I was just like, you were right about those people who are not in my life anymore, right? And she's always looked after me, even though we're cousins, we're definitely like sisters. So I agree with you that the role of sisterhood in our lives as women is very important. I wonder though, how does it show up in our community with each other, right? How have you experienced sisterhood, or have you experienced sisterhood within our traditions, the good, bad, and the ugly? Yeah, I looked like she was like,
No, I was going to
the stories
say,
I have.
Oh, yes. I would go on. 2 hours would not be enough. No, but when you were saying that, when sisters like, I don't get along with women, that comes from a space of hurt.
Yeah.
And in this community, because being in this community has not been easy.
Yeah.
And yet it's a lot of women, there's a lot of sisters. And when I first came into Atlanta's community, I don't know if it was just me being naive, because my mind is like, my heart is open and I just want to embrace
love.
everybody.
You're right.
Yeah. But then, and when I have friends, I'm like, I love my friends. I genuinely love them. And so I see it that way. But when people show me that that's not what they're about, and it kind of breaks my heart. And that's what's happened. Over the years, I've had a lot of hurt. So it's not that I don't mess with women. I didn't have a sisterhood in the community. Now, before being in Atlanta, and when I first came here, I was a part of the Olowogbofalue Nation. So I have family in there that I've had for over 25 years. And so that sisterhood is strong. And we are still together to this day. So I have those, but in the community, it's been a challenge. It's been really a challenge. And so when I thought I had friends that I thought were my sisters, and they showed me a different way. And not only that, they represented me in a way that wasn't me. So I kind of had to just stay back, because I felt that nobody wanted to get to know who I was, because nobody ever spoke to me. So I stayed away. So that sisterhood thing that I was looking for, I was yearning for, I never found it. Now, little by little, I'm much older now. So, you get to the space where you don't care what anybody thinks.
Right.
So I'm in a space where now I'm more open and not so reserved, or so reserved, or got my armor
guarded.
up. Yeah, to embrace women now, and to be more open, and to be more like, coming here. This is big for me. Yeah. And
thank you for coming. Yeah.
Oh, listen. When you said it, my spirit was like, this is good for you. This is good, and this is opening doors. It may be uncomfortable in your mind, but this is something that you need. And so, not only that, when you open yourself up for sisterhood, that energy should come back. And so, that's what it did. It did that for me. Like, I had to check myself to say, okay, is it me? Is this a problem with me? But, when you have a lot of jealousy and envy, and a lot of women need healing.
Yeah.
Let's be straight. A lot of women need healing. And if you don't go through that journey, you're going to have a lot of problems. So what I ended up doing was like taking a step back from everybody and learn about me, worked on me, understood that somebody else's jealousy and envy about me is not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of them and their own insecurities and their own issues that I shouldn't judge because I don't know their walk completely. So however they hold on to things is their choice, but what I can do is maintain the beauty and the love within me and keep flowing with that. And those that see that light and see that beauty and see that love will come towards me. I don't have to fight and look for it. I don't have to try and find that. And so little by little, that walk is coming to pass. Changing. But yeah, it's a challenge. I think that healing is a big thing for sisterhood in the community. Because you understand when people get initiated, they don't realize if they've not done the work on themselves, the Orisha, the Egbe, the ancestors are going to make you, they're going to force you to do that work because they're going to bring things into your space that you're going to have to address. Yeah. And that could be amongst your small unit. Yeah. But it's because you need to be aware of these things, not because they're trying to attack. It's a case that they're trying to show you that there's something within you that you've not healed and you need to work on. And in that light, it brings awareness to say, okay, then yes, they're being my mirror, but are they being my mirror to hurt me or to bring awareness to me? And for that, I'm thankful for. Because when I see hurt in another person, I say, what is it resonating within me and what do I need to work on? And so that's what I did. And that's what I continue to do, just to make sure that there's no dark corners that pain will like to sit in, because it does. You know, we find pockets of pain or pockets of things, the way we allow things to trigger us. That's pockets of things that we've not dealt with, and somebody says something or acts a certain way and it brings it back up and you're on the defense. Yeah. And so, you know, we just have to work on those things as women and talk about it. Talk about the things, you know, that that hurt. You know, sisters that want to speak about others or assassinate somebody's character, or, you know, the lying and the cheating and the all of those kind of things. Let's be honest about it. What does that do? What does that mean for you? How does that empower you to be you if you're continuously putting somebody else down? And another sister for that matter. You know, if you're, like they're saying, if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything at all. Right. But, you know, it takes time and it takes conversation to know that we have to talk about these things in order to eliminate them, in order to grow as a community. Yeah. Because if not, that sisterhood is going to be a strange. It's going to be a smiling face, but it's going to have no substance. It's going to have nothing to grow with, and nothing to grow or nothing to add to each other. It's just going to be smiling faces and just passing in the wind. And that, to me, is kind of empty.
It's definitely empty. And, you know, you spoke about, this has come up a couple of times on the podcast in terms of our self-work, right? Our self-awareness, and how the Orisha, like you come into the tradition, and then, you know, as you elevate in the tradition, everything that's happening to you is all for you to see more about you. Absolutely. Right. And then it's crazy because, you know, you might get a divination and the divination says things like, I remember Baba Kayode said this one time. I got a divination and it said, you are around people. It's funny because these are the people that Emanuela was talking about, funny enough. But she was like, Ifa said, you are around people that love you but do not like you.
I've heard that.
Right? And I was like, well, what does that mean? Right? I was like, what? And then so my immediate thing was like, well, I need to get away from these people. So who are these people? Can we ask? Right? I was on that at that time in my life. Like, can we ask? I got names. And Baba was like, no. And I was like, well, why not? I want to get away from these people. I want to confirm some names. And he was like, that's not even necessary. It's not even, you don't even need to know who the people are. They will reveal themselves over time. This is about you. And I was like, well, if I'm around them and they don't like me, but they love me, right? But they don't like me, then how is this about me? But I took that advice. It would take me a little while. I learned slow. Super snail or batala pace for sure. But once I get it, I get it. And really understanding that everything that happens to you is for you. Absolutely. Right? Even the people that are so-called hating on you or all of that, it is only to make you more stronger, right? So that you understand more about you.
Absolutely.
Until you do get to the point, because there is a point where you go, I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I don't about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I'm comfortable in myself now.
Yes.
I have more self-awareness now. So whatever you're putting down in terms of hating on me,
Oh well.
right? Like you don't hate me, you hate you. Right?
Yeah.
So like getting to that space, even in the breath of I'll put in air quotes sisterhood, that or maybe it was sisterhood at that time, but it wasn't. It was a different type of sisterhood, right? Like maybe we have different sisters for different times so that we can learn different things, and just being okay with that was really important from my own narrative.
You brought up something that had my wheels turning, and a lot of times we feel like initiation is the end all be all. That's the finish line. That's the goal. First of all, initiation isn't for everyone at every time in your life. That's number one. But number two, I know we talk about a lot about the the white man's psychology and stuff like that. But I really feel like a mental health evaluation should be required
Absolutely.
Prior
to initiation. Because what it is, a lot of times people use this as their identity. And if you don't know who you are before you do any of this, you really just throwing money at some stuff and it don't make sense. You don't even know how to actually work the things that you're receiving because you haven't really learned who you are yet.
Yeah.
So I really feel like number one, a mental health evaluation and clearance should be required before initiating.
It's not a bad idea.
No,
it's not a bad idea.
I do think that. And, in terms of experience, I lived a long life before initiating. I initiated until 39. So the first women that ever hurt me in my entire life were in my first Ile. The person who presided over my Obatala initiation and someone else who was in the Ile with me. First time women had ever hurt me in my entire life. And I remember when I received Peñaldo in Cuba, and Ogun was like, so yo, I got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So yo, there's some people in your life, you know who I'm talking about, so you don't even need to ask. Some people in your life and some things in your life that you need to close the door on. And until you close the door on it, I'm going to make your life incredibly difficult. Wow. So you know how we are when we receive messages. Okay. And then we go back to doing whatever it was that we were doing. So, Ogun would throw this and I'd be like, I'm okay. And that hurt a little bit, but it's okay. That stung a little bit. But then Ogun hit me with the whammy. And I was like, oh, okay. Received. And then it was time for me to, gracefully bow out of my first spiritual house. And, because my first spiritual house was mainly women, that was difficult for me because I'm like, yo, I come from a long line of loving women. What is going on right now? What is this? So like you said, a lot of times these readings, they come back for you to do something for yourself. It's not really about others. It's about you, something that you need to do. So, I needed to learn some discernment on my own, start paying attention, because a lot of times I get tunnel vision on my goals. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is I'm here to do. I know that it came up for me to make this. So let me make this. And, whatever you're doing, like I low-key see it, but I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time to worry about what you're doing. I'm busy. And Ogun's like, nah, you need to see what's going on over here because that can affect your path. That can affect the good name that you're trying to establish. All of those things. So that was a little off topic of the sisterhood, but like I just really feel like that's necessary to get the mental health together, because a lot of times we use this as an umbrella, and people will put this priesthood cloak on like that makes them. No, you weren't born this. I was not born Iya Nifa, Ifa Mayowa, Odisa Fumilayo, and all the rest of the names. I was born Tajhiek Anwar Baoll. You know what I'm saying? This is who I am first before I put all of these things on. So I need to know who that is first before I do all these things. And then, you know, secondly, with the sisterhood, a lot of these women have mother wounds. They have sister wounds. They have women in their life that have hurt them. So just because, you know, we're supposed to know better and, you know, Onisheshe, we're supposed to know better, supposed to do better, all of that is still in the world.
Yeah.
So you still have people in the world. So because it's in the world, you're going to have worldly problems in these ilays, in these houses, in these circles, at these bimbays. You're going to have these worldly problems. You know what I'm saying? People who have not done their own work. So a lot of times, you know, when women are hating or, you know, throwing bad energy or trying to do work against other women, you know, for no reason or whatever. First of all, we already know that kind of stuff don't stick, because the only way that, you know, work sticks is if somebody has offended you, if somebody has actually done something to you. If I ain't done nothing to you, you can do all the above that you want. If I ain't done nothing to you, nothing that you're praying for bad for me is going to come to fruition, because I'm so arrogant in my spirituality. I don't think nothing that you do can even touch me, so I don't really care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really invested in what anybody is doing against me, because I'm so confident that I am protected. I'm not even worried. You feel me?
See, I wish I was there earlier on in my spirituality.
Yeah.
Seriously.
This is age immaturity. This is age immature, because young me, I'll knock all this shit over. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, BSK is not like something made up. You know what I'm saying? It's a real entity within me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she chilling right now, but like that really exists. But you know, I'm so confident in my protection. I'm so confident in my ashe on my head by those who put it on my head, those who were present when it was done. I'm so confident in these things, nothing that you do can ever touch me, right? So the women who are doing these things, like, I remember somebody called called Baba Seku's wife and told her that that I was being mean to other women at some type of event. And I'm like, that don't even sound like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me the details behind what was said to you. So they told me, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy, because I really D-Day to all women. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you made or not. You know what I'm saying? Oboru boy, apple shishe. I don't know if you made or not. You know what I'm saying? Don't really care. Don't really matter.
I'm sorry, but don't you think it's a shame? It's not a shame, but we're talking about sisterhood. And do you see the conversation that we're having to talk about?
Yeah.
Do you see where we're having to go?
Absolutely. We have to go
that.
there to get to the space of solution.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
have to.
yeah, I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, when they told me that, I was like, that doesn't sound like me. That didn't happen. Okay. But okay, whatever, you know. So I've had people who will do that to me, and I've been nothing but kind to them. You know what I'm saying? And I have to understand that this is where they are in their journey. Don't really have nothing to do with me. I'm not even offended. I'm not mad. Whatever, sis, you know. So I think in our community, because it's so many women, I think a lot of times when women don't, these particular women, when they don't know who they are, you know what I'm saying? When they don't have a footing in who they are, they have to put their titles first, and they have to be grandiose like a peacock. You know, let me get in front of you, because you're not all that. I'm all that. But see, people who are doing the work, people who have the ashe, don't have to do those things. You know what I'm saying? Things come to them naturally. Things come to them, you know, in accordance with their character. They're good. They're Iwa. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's not just something that we say. Iwa is an actual thing. You know what I'm saying? Good character. It brings forth certain blessings. And you can just see, if you just pay attention, you can just see how things fall apart for other people, because you're not of good character. You know what I'm saying? And that has nothing to do with you, Omisegun. It has nothing to do with you, Oba. That has something to do with whoever is doing that. We have to continue to know that if we do the work within ourselves and maintain our character, nobody can get us, you know, off our deen, as we say in Islam. Can't nobody get you off your deen. You know what your purpose is. You know what your road is. Can't nobody deflect you from that. So that's not to say, you know, we don't care about these other women. We want these other women to get healing. So that's why we have to talk about this kind of stuff. That's why these conversations are important. The more we bury it and put our head in the sand and act like it's not happening, we're going to continue to have these experiences. And we should know better. We should be doing better because we are practicing ATR, and that goes for all ATRs, not just Isheshe. That goes for all of them because I'm initiated to Palo Mayombe as well. So that goes for all of them. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to know better and do better, and so I like to see us doing better and knowing better. But we have to point these things out. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a lot of the women trying to get in front of other women that they see who have a light. So in order for my light to shine, I got to dim yours. And that comes from them not having, positive experiences with women earlier in their lives. If they had that, they would know that we can both shine. It's a whole bunch of lights in it. Like, look at this light up here. It's like 100 lights in this square. Right. You know what I'm saying? We can all shine. And we can all look good. And me helping you helping me, it makes us both brighter. Us doing this together, it makes us all look good. You know what I'm saying? But if you haven't been raised in that, if that's not something you have any experience in, it's a hard concept to grasp. So we have to, mirror this. We have to reflect it. We have to show this. Our sisterhood is relatively young, but look how close we are. You know what I'm saying? Our sisterhood is relatively young, but look how invested you are in my children. Mirroring this to the community, it shows others that, real sisterhood, not performative, because we can act. Hey sis, we can act, but sisterhood in action. You know what I'm saying? You actually calling when my son was behind the wall. You actually checking on me when I lost my father, making sure I lose my mind. That's sisterhood in action. So if we're not doing it in practice, it's all performative. So we got to make sure that not only are we recognizing the ills of it, that we're also recognizing that there are women in our community who are doing the things that we are talking about, who are fortifying each other. That's important too. So I think we got to point that out as well.
How do we, so you talked about like mirroring, right? And if in being aware that there are many of us, like we're all on our journey. So I see healing as a journey. It is not a destination. If you hit the right wound, I gonna act a fool. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true. Yes. It's true.
I'm clear about that.
It's true.
So yeah, maybe I've done some work, and like I said, I can get kicked back to a previous version of myself, depending on what's going on, right? How do we, like even within our own hurts and experiencing hurt within our community with other sisters, like how do we heal that shit? Like I find myself often, right? I might be in the same room sometimes doing spiritual work with people that it can get hard because I'm like, like this is rough in this moment. I want to, like you said, I want to not be judgmental. We've had no conversation about some of these things, right? Or things that have happened, right? And sometimes in community, we're meant to just go on, right? Or maybe that's just what we do. We go on, right? Without really healing or without talking about it, without acknowledging the pain, the trauma, whatever it was. Like, how do we ever get to a space of community or healing if we don't do that type of work with each other? Is it all individual, or at some point does it need to be communal?
The individual work has to come first, because once you get the individual work done, whatever you shift within you is going to be a ripple effect. And if other people are doing the same thing, then we're going to come back together again in a healed version, or in a healed way, in a more elevated way, more understanding of our differences, our similarities and everything. Yeah, but it has to start with the individual first, And like I said, coming from my own perspective, that's what I had to do. I had to go into that space and understand that a lot of jealousy and envy. Now, jealousy and envy has been a part of my life since I remember when I was 6. That was the first time I actually experienced what jealousy looked like, and growing up and then coming into this community, I did not know it was this bad. I didn't know. But then I had a conversation with Baba Fakayode, and he asked me about my Odu, and I told him, he said, it's a lot of jealousy. He said, but you work on you. And so after that, I kind of looked at that like, what do I do with that? What do I do with that energy? And so it was like, you can't change what other people do and think. Their insecurities, their low self-esteem, their own issues is theirs. They're going to project it on you. So you could either step away and stay low, stay small, or you can just say, okay, I'm going to do me. And so that's what I did. I healed those aspects by accepting as is, because those are hurt. You know, the saying, hurt people hurt people. And it's not necessarily they hurt you by physically punching you, but the things that they do and say can hurt you in a way that it's hard to recover from. So you have to accept as is first, and then look at that. Like you said, the mirror, what are they trying to show you for your life, for your elevation? What is that trying to show you? One, how do you feel about you? Do you love you? Do you care about you? What is your internal dialogue saying that allows somebody else to come in your space and tell you something about you that makes you feel bad? Because you know what? When you know yourself, nobody can say anything to you and it's going to change anything here, because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You're supposed to love yourself enough that nothing else externally can affect this space here. So that took a lot of work. It took a lot of work. So now walking into any community, I'm me, and I'm okay with that. Now, don't get me wrong, because I feel, being in this community, you feel. We're very energetic people. We're spiritual people. We have spirits talking to us. We have, we have the dreams. So they're always going to alert us to who, what, where, when is not in favor of us. So when we have those alerts, it's like, okay, I get it, but it's still not going to change me. I'm not going to shift because of their energy. I'm just going to maintain me. But it took me working on me, to know me, to understand who I am, my likes, my dislikes, what makes me tick, what things are triggering me to react a certain way.
Yeah.
The acceptance of seeing people as they are allowed me to heal my heart, because the broken heartness of putting so much trust in women and sisters, and I say sisters, that try to destroy me, was so heartbreaking. It was almost like, I was married to them and I got a divorce or something.
Yeah.
It really, truly damaged my spirit. And so having to heal that was like, you got to accept them as they are. And then once you do that and see them for what they are, it, like you said, it turns something on you to check you. And so once I did that, it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
There's
for what you did.
There's some gratitude you can have for it. Absolutely.
Yes, and that gave me peace. But the acceptance of who they are and whatever they're going on with, which has nothing to do with me, that helped. Because I think Spirit showed me the insecurities of others and how they're going to project it on you is a way to try and bring you down, to try and push you down in order for them to stand up.
Or push them down to push you down to where they at.
Yes, exactly. But as long as you can acknowledge that and see that that's coming from their own pain, you don't have to accept any of that for yourself. But it takes that working on self. Or you're going to see it and you're going to receive it, and then that's a part of you, and then that's a double work that you got to do. So it's like, putting a pause and just accepting people as is. Your change is there, right there. Their change is however they go moving on in their life. And as you said, Spirit's going to separate you from people that are not supporting your growth.
Yeah.
No matter who, what, where, when. You may not want to separate from these people, but guaranteed, if they're not meant to be in your life, they're going to be removed. And it's not because of hate. It's because they're not bringing the love and the support that you're needing on your journey to move forward.
As my grandma would say, everybody can't go.
Exactly.
Ooh-wee.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, you brought up envy and jealousy. And one of the things that I've had to learn about jealousy and envy is that, 9 times out of 10, that person is actually looking at like where they want to be or what they want to do. Right. So it's not, it may come out in this hurtful way, but it could, like, it took time. And then not to even to be arrogant, like, you want to be like me. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, you could be mirroring for her, right? Something in her. You may like the way a sister dress. You may like the way she walks into a room. Like, what happens when she walks in the room. You may like the way she gives hugs. You may think she's really pretty. And you're not feeling so pretty right now. You don't feel, you wish, you want to command the room like that, but you haven't, you're not in touch with that part of you yet. So as opposed to, like, that's some advice I have for even, for people when you feel the the notion of jealousy, to kind of switch that in yourself and be like, what is it about her that I think is super dope? You know what I mean? That makes me want to, that has me thinking for a second. You know what I mean? Like, dang, Taj is, the way your authenticity, for instance, right, could make someone be like someone who's not in their full, they're not fully self-aware, maybe like, oh, like she talked this way, or she, like she should speak like this or that, as opposed to thinking like, man, this sister is completely secure in who the fuck she is. And no matter where she is, when she's there, she's totally shows up as herself. Absolutely. I wish I had that in me. And as opposed to congratulating you and telling you how dope that is, in an unhealed space, we take it and we make it jealousy and envy. I think that's something for us to really look at, just as women, like all of us in our interactions with each other, on noticing what that thing is. Because I find I have a brother. I'm really close to my brother. And in being with my brother, you know what I mean, and being around other brothers, I don't think that they do that. I don't see. Like, maybe they may have some jealousy, but it doesn't come out as the cattiness, the envy, the, I'm going to try to make you smaller so I feel bigger thing that we do as women with each other. I'm not sure that I know exactly where it comes from. Well, I just named some of it. But I wish that for us to be able to kind of look at that at the moment we feel it and shift it and transmute it to like, what is it that I think is totally dope about this sister? It might make a huge difference for us.
Absolutely.
I feel like, I love spirituality. It's great. But the therapy, man,
well,
they need to go together.
Friday at 12.
They need to go together.
Me.
Okay? They need to go together. And therapy, like you said, healing is a journey. So it's consistently ongoing. People think that you only need therapy when something is wrong. Nothing got to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And having somebody to really look at you that is not related to you or will benefit from telling you something wrong or something like that, and giving you the tools in order to navigate whatever you got going on, I feel like that's essential to your growth. Yeah. And we just need that. We need that. And in terms of, going internal and saying, what is this person trying to show me? A lot of times what it is that people they're replicating whatever they got going on and putting it within you. You know what I'm saying? You just happen to be there. It don't really have nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? But also, a lot of times when I'm talking to other women, they're telling me about a situation in which a woman was, being rude to them or whatever. And then they tell me something that they did. And I'm like, oh, hold on, time out. Time out. Do you see how that could be offensive? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you didn't mean for it to be offensive. Let's go back to what you said you did. I see how somebody could see that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if you want to rectify that exchange or rectify that, for next time you see this woman, because you're going to see it again. You see the same people at the events. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see it again. Do you want to talk to them about it? Like, hey, I realized I said da-da-da-da-da-da, and that might have come off this way. That's not how I intended it. I intended for it to be this. And, I'm not sure if I offended you. I noticed that there's some different interaction. The vibe is weird. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of want to talk about it. And, I want to apologize for my role in this. Because sometimes we do have a role, man.
Absolutely.
Not always, but sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? I would go to say, if you were in the room and you participated, then you have a role to play. And maybe that's how I've learned to function especially in sisterhoods and with women, and maybe even in relationships, period. I have learned to like immediately, if we're having an issue, I'm gonna dig until I find what it was. What did I contribute? Because I believe that I did. And the moment I can own that, that shifts the whole shit. It shifts it because now I'm not even. I don't have to worry about the role you played because I stand by that. That whatever happened, you're here too, right? So I'm sure you have something to learn. But my job in this is to make sure that I learn what I need to learn so that I don't have to do this shit no more. Because I don't want to keep repeating bad stuff.
But it requires both parties. So if both parties aren't going to be involved, if you come to it like, yo, what's up? I noticed that this is different. What's going on? And if she on the other side of the coin don't want to talk about it, or maybe is not used to confrontation, or whatever her situation may be, but the situation doesn't get resolved, you put it out there, okay? You put it out there, and if she didn't want to talk about it or dialogue about it, then it's dead because I gave you the opportunity. You know what I'm saying, for us to talk about this. You don't want to talk about it. You want to run from me every time you see me come in the room. Then cool, you hold that. You hold that, but continue to hold that. Because for me, I'm not a revolver. You can't spin the block on me in any kind of way. Romantically, socially, business-wise, you cannot spin the block on me. I'm going to give you one opportunity. You got one opportunity with me to act funny. And if you want to use that one opportunity to fumble the bag, then it's fumbled. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do believe that, some reconciliation, but once an exchange, once the energy is broken, I'm not really sure we can get that back. We can be cordial. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I'm going to trip you when I see you or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? We can be cordial. We can hello, aburuboye, abushishe, whatever, peace, whatever you say, I love you. We can be cordial, but like in terms of an actual friendship, we really cannot do that because you are not the quality of a person that I want in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because the people I want in my life is going to tell me when I have offended. You're not going to let that linger and go and go and go. You're going to be like, you know what, Taj, the other day when you was I ain't like that, and let's talk about it. It made me feel a kind of way. And then I could be like, yo, that's not how I intended that. Because, I'm not perfect. I can't err. I can't offend. Yeah. It's never my intention to offend. Never. But it doesn't mean that I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about it. And if we can't talk about it, if we can't bring these issues up, then what we doing, bro? Like you gonna talk to the OB, but you can't talk to me. I'm right here. I'm right here.
You think that some of us, that most of the majority of us have the skill level to have conversations?
Absolutely. And do not. Therapy, man. I'm telling you, it solves so much of this, bro. It solves so much of it. The therapy, man.
I mean, I think that's another thing. So that's what I'm saying in terms of like demonstrating. Right. In a situation where I am the person that apologizes first. Like every time. Number one, because I don't have time for this shit. That's one. My mind it'll create things that are not there. Right? I mean, it'll go and go and go and go and go. And so I was like, if I can, in this situation, what do I need to learn? What did I need to do better? What could I have done better? Right? I lead with that. And I'll start the conversation and I'll say, hey, I apologize because this is what I need to do better. Now, people will take that and run the fuck away. They will run with it. Oh, yeah, you needed to do that because right? I've gotten, we don't have to get into specifics, but people in their unhealed state that can't see, right, what just happened, right, that this woman just took accountability for what she could, and this is an opportunity for you to do the same, right? But what I'm saying is when they don't do that, it hasn't mattered because I've transmuted the situation.
Absolutely.
To have a whole and healed relationship, it would have been nice if you had done the same, but you're not there yet. Okay. You know what I mean? And now I have a better understanding of the deck that you're holding, and I can deal with you accordingly, right? I will still hug you and mean it. You know what I mean? I will still pray for you and mean it. Because I think that, but I'm also not, I think I looked at here's my vulnerable moment, y'all. My mother and my grandmother both passed at 58 years old from a heart attack.
Right.
It is my true belief that, and because I knew them, they held a grudge, boy. Caribbean woman that could hold a grudge till the cows come home. You fuck over them, your dog dead forever. And I want to change that. I'm going to live to see my great grandchildren, I say. But I believe that a part of that is learning to let shit go, learning to move past things and really heal from it. Again, it would be nice if we could have the conversation and we could both own where we fucked up. But that a lot of times people aren't there yet. And so in my attempt to stand true to what I want for myself and to heal my own heart and to not have a heart that stops because I'm holding on to stuff, you know, I feel like it has to, like, I want to be able to take accountability and move on and still be in, I don't want to be in a relationship with people that are abusive, right? I think there are just abusive people, and I don't want to fuck with them. But I think there's just a lot of people are just unhealed, and I think there's a difference between unhealed people and like people that are abusive, and we could sometimes cut off people that like you were their one lifeline to love. Like, you know, and sometimes we cut them off because, you know, sometimes we have to. My therapist and I talk about that all the time. She was like, you know, sometimes your boundaries need to be a little bit firmer. Right. But I'm still working through that. And maybe I have my own abandonment issues too. But yeah, I don't like the way we cut people off in community. Yeah. Especially as women. I feel like, because again, I don't hear brothers saying this. Where like, you know, you're dead to me. I cut you off. I don't fuck with you. Like, I don't need you anymore. Like, but it's this self-protection mechanism from our own hurt, right? That now tells me that I don't need you. I think and that is furthest African. Like, I don't think there's anything African about that.
I blame social media.
Tell me
I blame social media.
Wow.
Because of the memes. The memes will say, what's the common one I see? I'm getting rid of things that no longer serve me or something like that. I feel like a lot of these memes are just an escape from accountability. Protecting your peace is sometimes when I see these memes and I see the context, I'm like, that's not protecting your peace. You're running from accountability. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see how that brings you any type of peace, you know, because knowing that you had a role in something and you're not holding yourself accountable when you know that you hurt somebody, that's an issue. And I really blame social media. I think it gives us the impression that people are disposable. Yes. You know, and some people are not replaceable. Once you fumble that bag, that bag is fumbled, and that can also alter your destiny. It can also alter, you know, things that are for you. Because sometimes people are sent to you to open up certain doors and avenues for you, and you fumbled that. Yeah. And now you struggling. Yeah. Like I've watched people from afar like really struggle who have fumbled different types of bags, and the bag is not always money. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes, you know, that IJ isn't a person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when you fumble that, you know, that has a cascading effect on your life. Sure. You know what I'm saying? I just really blame social media in having everybody believe that people are disposable when they aren't. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to get rid of a person in your life, let's come to some type of closure about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it, like, you know what? You going this way, I'm going that way, and it's cool. It's all right. Let's part in love. You know what I'm saying? Let's part in peace. And so when we see each other, it can be peace. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? No hate, no grudge, no nothing. But we're so, this social media era that we're in, it just has us throwing away people. And
we don't have real relationships.
We don't. You can't do that. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, people can act a certain way and you would really want to have that closure. But if their behavior keeps bringing up or making you do certain things that you taking you out of character or bringing certain things up in you, sometimes you need to have a hard cut just to stop that energy from triggering you. And if you can't manage that trigger, then you see where it's coming from. You need to shut that door. And it's not necessarily from a space of, I'm a Virgo, right? So my cutoff game is real easy. You know what I mean? God. It's seriously. It's a very, I'd say it's a toxic thing sometimes because I could be like, I love you, but you will never have access to this again. You will never speak to this way again. Yeah. And I'm okay with it. And I'll smile and I'll still say, hey, how you doing? And that'll be all you're going to get. And so then I'll be like, okay, that's something that I got to work on because, you know, sometimes it's not nice.
No, that's important to have, Oba, because I'll tell you, because sometimes, you know, I was going to get to that part. I know I could be a little long with it sometimes. I was going to get to that part. But sometimes the behavior is the closure. We just talked about this. Yeah. Sometimes the behavior is the closure. What you're doing is like, you know what? I'm cool. Yeah. I'm super cool. I'm cool on you. Love from the deepest of my heart. But I'm cool. I'm good. This is over. I'm getting off. Let me out the car. Yeah. What they saying, boys in the hood? Doh, let me out. That's me. Let me out, bro. I'm good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the behavior is the closure. Yeah. So when it's possible to have that conversation, then let's have it. But if it ain't, we got to learn. We got to have the discernment of a Virgo because Virgo's got really good discernment. When it's time to let me out. You know what I'm saying? Like the discernment is really good in Virgo. So may everybody have the discernment of Virgo to understand when it's the end and nothing we can do. It's the end. Like you know what? It's done. It's cool. I like that. No problem. Let me out.
I like that.
Is, I can still love you, and I say anybody that I loved, I cannot hate. Even if you've dug knives and chewed it up and put salt on my wounds, I cannot hate you. I can understand that you have your own hurts and that's where it's coming from. Yes. But I can't hate you. But I may never speak to you again in life. Ever. The table that we eat from will not be the same. Right. And that's okay. I just still want you to eat, just not from where I'm not from my table. And I'm good. You know, when you started taking my accountability, I had a situation one time, and it wasn't too long ago, that somebody, see, I have a little temper as well, that spirit is that kept bringing me down. I understand. Right? So I didn't know. The person kept assassinating my character and just trying to turn people against me, and I didn't know why. And I was even getting readings to figure out, what am I doing in here? What do I need to do? And then, you know, when you sit with spirit and spirit tells you what it is, and say, well, you know, can you remember what you said? And so I went back to a situation, and this was like, I was talking about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was hot, mad. And I know my mouth when I'm mad. I don't curse, but I'm going to tell it as it is. And if you do good it, you're going to get it because of the way I'm speaking. And I didn't know that they started crying. So years later, that was their way. Oh, I'm going to get you back. I ain't even going to say nothing to you, but I'm going to get you back. So when I realized that that's what I did, I went to them and I said, look, you know, we've had a lot of dialogue back past today. So I'm going to come and say, I'm apologizing for my behavior. It's not what I said, it's the way I said it. Because what I said was right and exact, but the way I said it to you, I could have come off better. Yeah. And working on myself, I know I could have come off better. And I apologize for the way I came off. So I now understand where this started from. Yeah. This backwards and forwards, and not even backwards and forwards, this dialogue or this energy that kept coming at me and I couldn't see where it was coming from. I apologize sincerely from that space. And now the love, the support, the connection is beautiful because I was able to acknowledge my part in it and own it. Because that's the thing. When you own your power, then nobody else can take that from you. And that's one of the things that we don't do. Take our power back based on our behaviors, our things that we say, the things that we do. Once we own our power, good, bad, or indifferent, if you can own it, then nobody can put anything over you. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem we don't have because we don't do that enough.
Absolutely. You know? All right, y'all. See, I told y'all the hour, it goes by really fast. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was our first hour. When we come back, we're going to look at the notion of competition among sisters. And especially competition in our community among sisters. And then I want to leave this with some very solution-based oriented conversation around what we think is feasible and possible for us in terms of building sisterhood within our community. And the way that we end at Voices of IWA is we end with a prayer. So it's two of you. So one will pray this time and one will pray the next time. But if you all can pray for our sisterhood as a community, I think that would be great.
You want me to go? Okay. It is my prayer for all women and all ATRs to have a meeting of the heart and minds with themselves first and then with each other. Because without having a clear heart, clear mind, clear intention with yourself, everything else with other women is futile. So my prayers for all women to find their power, to find who they are outside of priesthood, outside of initiation, outside of titles, outside of all of that. It is my prayer that women find who they are first so they can have a footing within themselves and within their community, because a community is only as strong as their women. We know this. And without the power of women, communities die. And it's not just because we can have children. The power of the womb births children, generations, ideas, thoughts, businesses, goals, dreams, theories, hypotheses, all of those things. Without the womb, things cannot be born. So it is my prayer for all folks with wombs to find their power and to find who they are so they can learn how to shine bright without dimming others.
I say. Thank you both. We are going to come back in just a short time to finish this episode. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode. Please like, comment, and share. Subscribe. Thank you for being here this evening. And Odabo.